All right. So we are just now getting everything going.
You sound great, James.
Awesome. Looks like everything is live as we speak.
Wow.
I'm going to be sharing the live link in a post here as soon as I get the link from my awesome marketing manager, Jenny. And without further ado, I'm the CEO of Wrapify, and we've got a really special guest and somebody who's been with us since the very beginning, Justin Pate at the Rapp Institute. Justin is a figurehead in the wrapping industry with a W. He's a figurehead in the sign and digital graphics industry. But Justin, why don't you give the audience a quick intro to who you are and kind of a little background on you.
Thanks, James. And it's a super honor to be here. You are the man. I love Wrapify. Yeah, I've been in the wrap industry now for I've been started wrapping in 1996. Was based out of New York City, and then moved to Amsterdam in 2007. Started teaching full time, and then started the Rapp Institute in 2014, which is an online streaming video platform teaching people how to wrap. And I've been lucky enough to travel around the world and teach for big brands like Avery Dennison and give hands-on workshops. And that's what I do for a living right now. So I was an installer full-time for probably 12, 13 years. And then now I've been teaching full-time as well.
That's awesome. And, just background on Wrapify, we started back in 2015. I knew I had to have, the poster child of the wrap industry to help me build what is now the largest network of wrap installers in the US. Nice. We built a certification platform that sits on top of 3 industry certifications. We took a lot of the techniques that Justin created to help speed the process up to make it so that installers could make more money quicker by working with Wrapify. So the theme of today's stream is really to talk about, and this is really atypical for my normal LinkedIn audience, but the theme is really to talk about what wrap installers, wrap shops, sign shops that do vehicle wraps, what they should be doing right now while business is a little slow, right, to get ready for what I think is going to be a storm and a flurry of business as brands get back to doing what they do.
Yeah. I think when you proposed this live event, and I got super excited. I've been thinking about kind of where everyone's at, and I think one thing, we're obviously all in the same boat, and I think it's affecting different wrap shops and installers in different ways. If you're focused on commercial, maybe if you're focused on color changes. I mean, some people are still pretty busy. Some people are just totally dead. One thing I think is, for me, the theme, and it kind of happened yesterday. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too weird, but my major in college was mythology and symbolism, and I studied Carl Jung and synchronicity. And yesterday, I was just thinking about, okay, what can I bring up in the meeting or in the event today? And I looked at Dallas Fowler's post. He's a great guy, installer out in Kentucky with his partner Matt, and he was talking about, hey, just be positive. And then one of my favorite distributors in the world, Leo from Sign and Digital in Dublin, he did a vlog today about how to be positive. And my wife, who's a journalist, did an article yesterday about the benefits of being positive. So I think it's just right now is positivity. I think with right now, I mean, I can't speak for yourself, but I mean, I know for me, for the Rapp Institute, we had a giant booth at ISA Sign Expo that got rescheduled. A lot of workshops that I'm teaching have gotten rescheduled. I've lost a lot of work, and it feels like a punch in the gut when you first get it. And I think the temptation for a lot of people right now is to let it really just sit in, like you kind of internalize, and you're just like, oh God, I mean, this is heavy and I'm losing money and it's stressful. But I think positivity is the key, to be honest with you right now. And it sounds like a simple solution. Obviously, we'll talk later about doing the black and white and getting government relief and stuff like that. But man, I mean, I just think it's so easy to be negative during this time, but it's also, if you're positive, it becomes easy as well. It creates its own momentum,
Yeah. I mean, having a positive outlook creates so much. I mean, in the way you feel and the way that you approach a challenge with positivity, it's always a better option than approaching it with a pessimistic outlook.
Yeah.
This what's interesting about this time is this is affecting the global economy. It's not just isolated on like one country or one specific demographic. It's affecting everybody.
100%.
But yeah, going back to like what the SMBs, because a lot of what we're talking about today doesn't just apply to wrap shops. I mean, it applies to pretty much every small to medium sized business, every mom and pop, every little smaller brick and mortar business. One of the things that Justin and I were talking about was investing in yourself, in continued education, honing your craft, doing some housekeeping, getting the business ready, for the post COVID-19 era. I think that's one of the things we're doing at Wrapify. I mean, we're able to get rid of a lot of tech debt. We're able to really focus on features, platform refinements, messaging refinements, getting ready for all the different campaigns that we're going to be deploying. And also warming up our installer base. I mean, that's another reason for why I wanted to do this. We are seeing the same. My prediction, and I mean, again, like this is a coin toss here, but my prediction is the value that Wrapify would have been delivering during this period of time is going to be squeezed into the later half of this year. It didn't just evaporate. It's we're going to see a much heavier Q3 and Q4. And what that means for our installer base is they're going to be slammed. They're going to be super busy. They're not going to be able to do any of the things that they thought they were going to do in terms of getting the business ready. So refining operations, making sure that the business is tightened up in terms of its fluidity and its ability to serve its customers. Right now is the best time to hunker down and get the business more streamlined. So Justin, curious to hear your thoughts on like how the sign and digital graphics industry, wrap shops can, what they should be focused on right now.
Yeah, it's, I think a lot of people I've been doing some stuff for Avery Dennison, some business advice stuff with John Duver. And I think, it's varied. So people are saying podcast and work on Trello and work on all this stuff. And so I think for a lot of people, you hear all this stuff and you're like, okay, I don't even know what exactly I should do. And I think the best thing that I would do if I was a wrap shop or installer is, when I was just like crazy busy in November, October, I mean, I've been crazy busy for years, but my point is think about step back and think, okay, when you're super busy with your business, whether you're a wrap shop owner or installer, what was the thing that was draining you the most? What was the thing that you were like, was taking the most amount of time that you feel like you weren't getting the most out of it? Was it invoicing? Was it production? Was it this type of install? What was pissing you off the most? What was it when you got home at night? What was kind of on your mind that was making you angry? That is what you should work on now. You either work on it and you make it better or you get rid of it. So there's probably certain things as a business you did, which wasn't making you a lot of money. Get rid of that. Go after something else that is fun and enjoyable. Or if there's a processing, like for me, I love to wrap, I love to teach. Do I love the business side of everything? Some of it, but some of it I don't. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to focus that on anymore. I'm going to hand that off to this person so I can do what I love, and those are the kind of things, look what was causing you to itch and scratch that itch right now. I would, for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about in terms of what businesses tactically can be doing right now. Yeah. Well, one of the first things that I noticed about myself is there's all these tasks that I knew I wanted to do during this downtime. One of the things we're doing company-wide is creating e-learning within our company for helping onboarding new employees, and also getting rid of some of the tribal knowledge about Wrapify, because now we've got folks that have started recently that weren't here, when we were working out of a tiny little subletted space, and don't have, the 5 years of history memorized. So getting into that platform, we're using Trainual, which is really cool. Getting into that platform, building the modules, it's a muscle move. I have to force myself to do it because my brain and body is telling me, James, just do it later. There's more important things you need to be doing right now. But the reality is, I really should be hopping in and doing that stuff right now. So that's one. The other thing that I've seen a lot of, because we work with about 500 wrap shops and sign shops that do vehicle wraps across the country within our certified network of installers. And one of the common themes is there's a wide variance of business aptitude. So making sure that your website is tightened up, making sure that your brand is clean, making sure that you've got all those amazing customer and client testimonials, making sure that you understand how to use the platforms that drive business to your door. Right now, Yelp, Facebook, and Google are giving away ad credit. You just have to go on and find it and grab it and use it. You should be getting ready to be positioned out front when we get back to back to some sort of sense of normalcy. So the brands that in the small businesses, this is across the board, the brands in the small businesses that are not doing anything, that are just kind of frozen, don't really deserve to stick around, in my opinion. I think that it's everybody's responsibility to adapt and change to this new reality. And if you're not doing the work, somebody else will.
Yeah, I agree. And I think and I think for a lot of people, it's either you're going to survive or you're not. And I think you have to be in that mindset right now where it's like, I think a lot of people are hustling and repositioning themselves. In some ways, this is actually a perfect time to come out of a lot of people are saying, granted, when you look at the unemployment numbers, like in America, what happened yesterday, I mean, it's absolutely mind boggling. And people are like, is the economy going to get better? Is the wrap industry going to get better? I don't know. I've watched a great documentary about, or interview with Warren Buffett, and he talks about like, what is his secret for investing? And he's like, he likes to purchase companies that have a moat. They have a moat around them because with that moat, it symbolizes like it has kind of brand loyalty, customer loyalty. So even if the stock market goes up and down, that company will still stay strong. Well, I feel like the wrap industry is like that. The wrap industry has a moat around it. So I think when the economy goes down, people need signs. When the economy goes up, people need signs. So I think you're right. I think in 2 or 3 months, once the all clear is done, I think it's game on. And if you are not positioning yourself and you have your social media right and you have things, I think right now it's not only getting that stuff right, but it's making that stuff fluid. So that when you get back to work and you get back to business, you're just focusing on business and you don't have to focus on the noise on the outside. I think for me, it's communication, kind of like what you're talking about earlier, is like with my team right now, with Rapp Institute, I have, building a center in Munich right now. So I have Pascal and Reiner working there and I talk to them every day. I have Cassandra and Caitlin and Scott and Jack, and I have the whole tech team. It's like we're talking twice a week now, and we're just making sure that we're on the same page. And I can feel the lubrication. I can feel the kind of the oil in the system now, and I feel like everything's kind of starting to create that speed. And that gives me hope that once this gets all clear, it's going to be full on. But if you're not in that position, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, let's talk about some of the things that you've been doing at the Rapp Institute. I know that there's, obviously why don't you give everybody a quick background on what the Rapp Institute is? Because there are folks that are probably not familiar with it. And there are probably some folks that are dedicated and loyal subscribers.
Right. Yeah. The Rapp Institute is an online streaming video platform. It's very similar to, earlier in the day, I had DVDs from 2007 till 2013. And the whole time I was waiting for the internet to get to the point where I felt like I could take the DVDs and do streaming videos online or, paid for service. And I kind of modeled it after lynda.com, which is very successful. They got bought by LinkedIn a few years ago. So basically it's an online platform, start off with 80 videos, and now we have over 1,900 and come out with 5 new videos a week, unlimited access once you're a member. And lots of other bells and whistles that come with it. So it's what I love about it. It's a neutral platform. So we work with all the brands who make materials and tools. So it's just a trusted resource within the industry where people know that they can come to they can educate their employees. If you're an advanced installer, you're going to get the latest cutting edge techniques, and you're not being sold something just to be sold something. It's just a neutral platform. So for me, it's a labor of love, but it's also, I have a great team behind me and it's expanding very quickly. So that's kind of the Rapp Institute in a nutshell.
Question about what you're doing. I know because I follow you on all of your social platforms. I've been noticing you've been doing this really interesting thing called wrapping in place. You talk about, and I think this is really interesting because this is something that anybody in the sign and digital graphics wrap industry can do right now. But Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with wrapping in place?
Yeah, it kind of brings us back to that whole positivity angle. I think my partner in Europe, Reiner, he does DJing on every Saturday. He goes to the Rapid Center and plays music. And, you know, as I said earlier, I think for a lot of people now, justifiably, it's a frustrating, stressful time. And what I'm trying to do with the wrapping in place is, you know, my daughter's home from school, and I know a lot of parents who have kids home from school, and wrapping's fun. And so I'm just trying to do some free videos of show stuff that you can wrap in your house, involve your kids, involve your family. But again, what you're talking about too is if you're an installer in your home right now, I want to show, like last week I did a coffee maker. I want to show, you know, keep your skills up, because it's almost like when you hit back and, like, let's say Wrapify, you come in with a huge campaign, July. I hope those installers are all got their muscle memory going and stuff like that. So, and I got a cool wrap in place tomorrow. So I'm super excited. Cause I mean, even today, you know, I was out in the street of my house, you know, and the Netherlands has somewhat of a lax Corona approach, you know, but a kid came across the street and he's like, "Sir, is your car wrapped?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he says, "Well, a couple of weeks ago though, it was a different color." I said, "Yes." And he's like, "Do you put it on?" And he just kept on asking questions. And I was like, "How about next week? I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to give you 2 yards of blue and 2 yards of black." And he's like, "But I don't have a car." I said, "Do you have a toy car?" And he's like, "I can wrap my toy car." And I'm like, you know, and so it's just, that's what I'm trying to give out for these videos, wrapping in place, is get that smile quotient, you know? So I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten from installers who've wrapped their laptops now and their kids wrap their laptops. So during this time, it can be fun and it can be interactive with your family. Instead of watching Netflix for 12 hours, watch it for 11 hours and then wrap your laptop. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's what's all. I mean, you kind of touched on something else, and that is how lacking the knowledge base is of vehicle wraps. Like, there's when you see a matte black car that or a supercar that's covered in some wild color, most people think it's paint.
yeah,
And you know, the total knowledge base about just you know, fleet vehicle graphics and you know, paint wrap or color change wrap.
sure.
It's still very limited. Not a
Yeah,
lot of people understand or know that you could change the color of your car. You could install or have there's a network of installers across the globe that do this for a living,
yeah,
and it also protects your paint, and it just gives you the ability to change it up. And you know, I think we're going to start seeing more of that as the economy starts to get back up to speed.
sure.
I also think that this is going to be an economic U-shaped curve where it went off, it goes down, and it's going to come back up almost as quickly as it came or as it went off. Or at least that's my hope.
I think a lot of people are hoping that.
Yeah, but let's also talk about some of the things that you're doing. In addition to some of the free stuff you're doing,
Sure.
we've got some offer codes that we'll share out on all of our social channels after this. But the Rapp Institute is a really amazing resource if you want to learn how to wrap vehicles. If you want to be on our network in Wrapify, from a public standpoint, has always been looked at as a two-sided platform or two-sided marketplace of drivers and brands, right?
Yeah.
But it's really a three-sided marketplace of drivers, brands, and installers. And on the installer side, we are a jobbing platform. We fill their empty time slots. We allow them to earn additional revenue that they would have otherwise never seen. And we design it so that it's fast and easy, so they could get these vehicles in, get them out, and get paid.
Yeah.
And our requirement is you need to know how to wrap a vehicle, but B, you need to be pretty damn good at it.
Sure.
Because if you're slow, if you don't have the skill set, if you damage vehicles, those types of things, you just won't make it onto our platform.
Sure.
And the Rapp Institute really helps set you up for success. So we'll share out, there's 2 offer codes, a code for a 1-year subscription of the Rapp Institute and a code for a 2-year subscription of the Rapp Institute.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy discount. So really, really nice of Justin and his team to put that together.
More than happy to. Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about you know, for a quick moment, because speed wrapping is something that you really sharpen your pencil on and help develop. And we've taken a lot of what you've created and wrapped them into our certification process and the way that we require installers to wrap vehicles. You want to touch on kind of what's different there?
Yeah, I mean, when I didn't know, like when I was wrapping in New York, there was no really, I mean, from 1996 to 2007, I was kind of in a bubble, and I didn't know that I was wrapping cars faster than the average, you know, and there's other great installers out there who wrap fast. And again, you try to find that balance between quality, durability, and efficiency. And so I kind of created a system based on that. And my DVDs and my workshops and the Rapp Institute, I've all built around that mantra, which is you want quality and durability, but then you also want to bring in speed, because if you bring in speed, that's when your profits go up. The Rapp industry is definitely expanded, where I think people are doing color change and PPF and tint now, and that requires a different gear. But for commercial graphics, which is what Wrapify is based on, I think you have to get that quotient down, because I know the people right now who are making the most money are doing fleets, which is what you are basically, doing with your company. So I think right now you do have to find that balance between quality and durability, but if you don't bring in that speed, which comes from having good knowledge, knowing your material, using the right tools, but also coming up with a system, being very business minded. And if you are, I mean, I gave a speech in Amsterdam in 2016, and I based it off of Grandview had a forecast of the industry, Rapp industry, and they said in 6 years it was going to triple. And I told people in 2016, I said, this isn't about learning how to wrap. This is about learning how to manage growth. And I said, if you learn how to manage growth right now, you're going to make money. And I know the companies that are making the most money right now, like Jim Miller and Miller Decals down in Atlanta, he's all about growth and he's all about managing it. And his wife Starla is awesome, an accountant. So companies like that are being able to grow with the industry. And if you can do that, great. So this isn't about wrapping that perfect corner for commercial. It's wrapping commercial style. That's what I teach in the Rapp Institute and on the workshops. Is there's color change quality and then there's commercial quality. And I think one of my favorite installers in New Jersey, Marcos. I saw him at SEMA last year, and he said, sometimes, dude, we're wrapping a car and it's like a commercial car, my guys come up and say, how should we wrap? And he's like, Justin Pate it. I'm like, what does that mean? And he's just like, clean and tight. Don't take off too much hardware, make it tight. And that's for me, the passion, that's how I like to wrap. And that's kind of how I, created your platform for Wrapify is clean, tight, close for cars, get it in, get it out, bam. And that's how, for me, that's my favorite style. And that's kind of what I hope people embrace, because that's when I created the program for you, the goal for Wrapify is to wrap how many cars a year? At least 100,000.
Right.
That's
I think,
goal.
we're getting, and our goal is to get to that number sooner than later. We've wrapped thousands of vehicles. We probably wrap more vehicles as a single entity than any other single company on the planet today.
Yeah.
In terms of consumer vehicles. But the thing that I think is also really interesting about fleet vehicle graphics and the Justin painting it doesn't mean that you're being sloppy, because I think we've had some installers who are you don't when you're an outsider looking in, it's pretty interesting, because these wrap installers, these sign shops, they take their craft very seriously. Sure. And their business is their world. So when you enter that world and you introduce a very different way of approaching something that they care about very deeply, right. Sometimes there's a little bit of abrasion, right? Where the installer will be like, "Nah, I'm not letting that go out." It's like this vehicle is wrapped like you spent way too much time getting this car wrapped and on the road. It looks beautiful, and it's not going to be under a microscope. But at the same time, it's got to look amazing. It needs to be done safely. We make sure that all of our installers use knifeless tape so that we're not cutting on the vehicle. And all these tweaks and changes, what typically happens is once they get through a couple of installs, that light bulb goes off and they go, oh, okay, I get it. Now I could bang out 5 of these in a day versus doing 1 fleet vehicle in a day with my entire crew. And then they go, okay, wow, this is another stream of revenue. And we have wrap shops in some of the markets that we have more frequency of campaigns doing 40, 50, 60,000 plus in additional revenue, right, just from Wrapify, just as a third stream of income, right? So I think it's important for these installers to really start understanding speed wrapping, honing in on their skill set, getting better, because there's a wave. There's a wave of business, whether it's from Wrapify or just from the economic tides that are coming your way. And if you're not ready, you're gonna miss out.
Yeah, but I think, kind of what you're saying is there's the overwrapping, people who try to do it too good, but I think there's also the other side where people do it too fast. And if you do it too fast, but it doesn't last, who cares? And if you do it too slow and you do one a day, there's no flow. So you have to find that balance where it's like, You want to get right in that groove. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of what I love about your platform too, is you're really technical savvy. So a lot of the videos that I've made for you, if you watch that video, you know how to do it. And then it becomes cookie cutter. And then you start to create that repeating factor. And that when you start to repeat, that's when your profit goes up. So I think it's just about clarifying. I mean, when I taught my workshops last year, and I remember when I was in Australia, the first day I did a 2-day workshop. Day 1 was commercial. Day 2 was color change. And I taught totally different techniques in each one. And people came out of the workshop and like, that was awesome. Because what they've been doing is they've been mixing the two. And if you mix the two, it's not great. I mean, you're not going to mix like a super high-end, amazing, like 200-year whiskey with Diet Coke. You just ain't going to do it unless you're just gangster. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, you kind of mix what you're going to use a well whiskey with a, Diet Coke, and then you're going to just drink that, so you don't mix the two. So it's just like, there's color change, which is high end. There's commercial, which is commercial, and embrace that. Love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you can switch your hats back and forth. And again, I'm not trying to give a lot of love to Jim right now, but Jim can do the super high end door jams, all that kind of stuff. But then he could turn and do it Aaron's van in an hour and a half. And he's loving that. So he knows when to switch hats, because he knows that they both make money in their different ways, and embrace that. Because if you can, awesome. And that's the ego check. I think a lot of times there's that ego thing where they want to do the best and they want to have the craft. And I appreciate that, but dude, this is money time.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, the ego piece in business in general is usually an impediment. And, sometimes I even struggle with that, where I will want to make a decision that is purely ego driven, and I got to check myself. And luckily, I've got a really amazing team that'll check me before the public realizes that I was checked, and it never ever sees the light of day. I've got a really amazing network of advisors, board, and team members. My brother also works here at Wrapify, and he checks me on a daily basis, so I'm thankful for that.
That's what brothers are for.
But the other thing I wanted to quickly touch on is, if you're an installer that's not on our network, if you go to install.wrapify.com, that's how you can sign up. We'll push a link to you to do the certification exam. Our certification's really more about how to wrap for Wrapify, not how to wrap. We expect you to already have one of the three industry certifications, whether it's the one that Justin does with Avery Dennison, 3M, or what's the other, the third one?
I believe it is PDAA.
PDAA, that's right. So those are the three certification platforms that ours sits on top of. So if you have one of those and you also want to wrap for Wrapify, definitely sign up. All the campaigns on our platform are not really in our control as to when and where. It's based on when brands and agencies want us activate a campaign, and we're working harder than ever to make sure that we get that steady stream of campaign activity back once we get through this COVID-19 social distancing period, which I think we're now on the downslope. It feels like we're starting just based on the types of the shift in messaging and the types of communications that I'm seeing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, via email, text. I think part of it is people just want to get back to work. I think part of it is just people don't want to have to be stuck inside. The social distancing is important, but people want to get back to work. So I feel like we're going to start seeing the tides change a little bit there, and it feels like we're starting to go down on the downslope of this. It feels like we're past the peak, at least business wise. So I'm really enthusiastic about that. I think May is going to be a really interesting May. And then I think this summer is going to be out of season in terms of the type of business that we would see in the ad industry. There is some seasonality in the way ad buying occurs in the US. There's typically we see a big heavy up in Q2 going into summer. Summer kind of slows down, then August through December is a mad dash. It's what it's been like pretty much every year since we started this business. And this year has already been different. Like it was different from the very beginning, and this COVID-19 thing completely changed everything. So,
and I'm curious too. I mean, maybe how do you deal with that as an owner? How do you deal with that how did you deal with I mean, I think for you, we talked yesterday, but I mean, I was in the same boat. A lot of people were like Bruno from Metro Wraps. I mean, January, February for the Wrap Institute was this. Like, it was like everything's on. We got all this stuff lined up, super cool, and then it was boom. And it's like, it's interesting. I mean, how does an owner? How do you? I mean, you've obviously processed it, and now you're working through it. But I mean, how was that for you?
I mean, it's rough. It's rough. You know, preserving runway as a startup is really, really important. You can't really depend on venture capital during a period of time like this. So you have to do things that are, you know, you have to make some really, really tough decisions that are ultimately like what you have to do as an owner, as a founder, or as a partner in a business. To make sure that you have the runway to get through this period of time. I think the other thing, and just that we got a couple more minutes, but the other thing that make sure you apply for the PPP.
Yes.
Did I break up there?
You broke up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Make sure if you're in the US, make sure you've gotten your PPP application in and your
EID
and your EIDL stuff done. Every business in the US is applying for this. If you're a small business owner, that's what it's designed for. So make sure you do that. Justin, we got one more minute before we got to hop off. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with?
No, definitely check out, and again, you know, this is special for 1 week only, but definitely if you're interested in learning how to wrap, or, you know, if you've, you know, just definitely check out that membership on the Wrap Institute. For me, it's the Netflix of the wrap industry. $99 for 1 year. I think it's $179 for 2 years, which is huge discount off. Unlimited access, 250 videos. And I think for me, it's a great way to train employees in half the time. And if you're experienced, it definitely takes you to that next level, which is super cool.
Awesome. I'll share a link to the post where you're sharing that information as soon as we hop off. Justin, thank you so much for being on here. I'm going to end the recording now.
Okay, you're the man. Cheers.